Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Tonight, we remember the nearly 3,000 lives lost in the devastating terror attacks on U.S. soil 24 years ago today. Some of the images from that day that we're about to show may be familiar, but they might also be difficult for some viewers still.
And right now, you're taking a live look at New York City, where families, locals, and visitors all gather today to honor the memory of those who died. On September 11, 2001, 19 al-Qaeda hijackers seized control of 4 commercial airliners in a coordinated attack. At 8:46 a.m., that first plane struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center in Manhattan.
Nearly an hour later, American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon, killing everyone on board and 125 military and civilian personnel inside the building. And 30 minutes after that, the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed, which marks one of the darkest hours in American history. You're watching the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. As a memorial tribute unfolds across the nation to honor the victims of the September 11th attacks, here at home, Holy Cross High School in Waterbury hosted its own tribute for all the lives lost that tragic day.
Fox 61's Valerie Moravi has that story for us.
It's been nearly a quarter century since the 9/11 attacks shaped the lives of the American people. And Thursday evening was all about that, to continue the legacy of all the victims with local ties to Connecticut, like Father Francis E. Grogan. Father E. Grogan's spirit was felt in each person at Holy Cross High School Thursday evening. Grogan was a passenger United Airlines Flight 175. He was heading to visit his sister when the plane crashed. President of Holy Cross High School, Dr. Thomas Pellegrino, says they won't let the loss overshadow the kindness Grogan always shared with others.
He had a profound impact. He was kind, compassionate. At a time during the 70s when there was a lot of chaos and concern, and he was somebody who brought students together, and our job with our students is to help them adjust to a world that can be chaotic from time to time.
The school's memorial tribute also shine a light on first responders who paid the ultimate sacrifice that tragic morning. All victims were remembered with anecdotes and a special guest, including Waterbury police and first responders, along with pipes and drums, loud enough to remember the names of each victim.
We took it upon ourselves.
Lawrence Ciccarello is now one of the people in charge of keeping Father Grogan's memory alive. He says the special tribute also honors 9/11 survivor Ray Rosa, who was in the 9th floor of the first tower. 17 years later, Rosa died of cancer.
So every year we pay tribute to Father Grogan. We pay tribute to other survivors. This year we're paying tribute to Ray. And we also pay tribute to the victims of Connecticut and our first responders that are present in our audience and answer the call every single day, no matter what's facing them.
Christopher Casey and Lorelei Johnson of Waterbury were part of the medical examiner's office and the computer department in New York City. They helped identify bodies. They say that moment won't be erased from their hearts anytime soon, but rather it transformed into gratitude and respect.
And that kind of solidified our commitment to 9/11 and every memorial that comes thereafter. And we're proud to have been part of the team that worked to serve other families.
Felt like I was doing something to try to help. And then when the plane went down also, we got involved with the same situation for them too. And it was just a terrible time for the nation. It was just a terrible time for all those families.
Now, organizers say it's important to remind the younger generation of the impact that date also had on the nation. In Waterbury, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
And And as you just saw today in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, family members, local leaders, and visitors gathered at the Flight 93 National Memorial to honor the 40 passengers and crew who lost their lives.
Yeah, this quiet field in rural Pennsylvania became a site of extraordinary heroism on 9/11. United Flight 93 was en route from Newark to San Francisco originally. It was hijacked by 4 of the terrorists. But passengers on board fought back, and their brave resistance forced the plane to crash into the field and stop those hijackers from reaching their intended target in Washington, D.C. Now, Gate A-17 at Newark Airport was where United Flight 93 took off from on the morning of 9/11, just minutes before the attacks began. And now that gate sign stands at the Flight 93 National Memorial in Shanksville.
And coming up in about 20 minutes, we're showing you photos from 9/11 that you've never seen before.
All right, we are following a story we brought you initially last week.
A mother and son from Meriden who was stuck in the West Bank is now back home. Fox 61's Kay Paddyfoot has more on the homecoming.
Intifada and her son were stuck in the West Bank since August. They finally came home Thursday and couldn't be more relieved.
It was good. Tired, but it feels really good to be safe and back home.
I feel good. I'm excited to go back to school and see all my friends.
Intifada Abdagani and her 14-year-old son visited family in the West Bank in June. They were scheduled to come back in August. When they arrived at Ben Gurion Airport in Israel, they were told they couldn't fly home by Israel authorities despite being American citizens. The family reached out to Senator Richard Blumenthal and Representative Johanna Hayes, who helped get them home. Thursday evening, they arrived back in Meriden and were greeted by neighbors and family. Intifada says she's grateful for all the support, but says not everyone is as lucky.
I know I hold 2 citizens, which is Palestinian and American, and I react by reaching out while I'm at the airport, reaching out to the American embassy back in Jerusalem, and they helped me and all the people getting involved. But there is a lot of people that they don't have that privilege, let's say. And they've been stuck in there for a while.
Mahar Abdogani is happy his family of 6 is complete again.
I'm very happy that they're back, and I love my family. I truly do. Now I got about a week of, I miss you, and then after that, it's like, hey, buddy, that's perfect. That means we're back to normal.
Intifada tells me she's been in communication with Representative Johanna Hayes, so if she ever goes back to the West Bank, this won't happen again. In Hartford, Kay Paddyfoot, Fox 61.
New Haven police have made an arrest in connection with a sexual assault that occurred at Fort Hale Park on August 9th. 34-year-old Ludwig Carius Interiano from West Haven was taken into custody this morning at his home. He faces charges of aggravated sexual assault and unlawful restraint and is being held on a $750,000 bond. The victim came forward after the attack, which police say involved a box cutter. The investigation is ongoing.
As questions swirl in our nation's capital about COVID-19 vaccine access, state leaders say Connecticut is prepared. Governor Ned Lamont says the vaccine shot remains available and is now urging people not to hesitate. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules has the story from Hartford.
As cold and flu season approaches with so much uncertainty in Washington regarding the availability of the COVID-19 vaccine, Governor Ned Lamont says it's important to take a stand. Governor Ned Lamont and other state officials joined Charter Oak Health Center officials in Hartford to discuss executive actions the state has taken to ensure access to the COVID-19 vaccine. Manisha Juthani, the state commissioner of the Department of Public Health, says they recommend children 6 months and older and people who are 65 and older receive the vaccine.
But everybody else can, and it's a way to help protect your family and all those who may be less strong in terms of their own immune system to help themselves make it through this next winter season.
She also recommends people of any age who are immunocompromised or at higher risk to catch the virus get the COVID vaccine. In the absence of 2025 to 2026 COVID and vaccine administration instructions, the State Department of Consumer Protection has advised pharmacists to use the 2024 to 2025 vaccine administration instructions by the CDC. Pharmacists can also continue to administer all FDA-approved vaccines with a prescription from a doctor or practitioner. Governor Lamont says it's important for people in Connecticut to know vaccines will still be available in the state. The Connecticut Department of Insurance also says there will not be any changes to the coverage of COVID-19 vaccines. In Hartford, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
A manhunt is underway for the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk during an event on a Utah college campus. Authorities spent the day searching neighborhoods and are now offering a $100,000 reward. Officials released these images of who they believe is the suspect. Investigators believe the shooter opened fire from a rooftop, then jumped from the building and ran into a nearby neighborhood. They say surveillance video shows the suspect moving through stairwells, up onto the roof, and then to the firing location. Cell phone video appears to show a figure in dark clothing on the rooftop. The FBI says it recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle believed to have been the murder weapon from a wooded area nearby. Officials also recovered a palm print, shoe impressions, and a screwdriver possibly used to disassemble the rifle to avoid detection during the escape. Investigators are still analyzing evidence, including markings on the weapon linked to cultural issues. A person initially detained right after the shooting has since been released. And Charlie Kirk's casket arrived in Phoenix earlier tonight, home to Turning Point USA, the organization he founded. It was transported aboard Air Force Two and accompanied by Vice President J.D. Vance.
Officials have now identified the 16-year-old student who opened fire at a high school in Colorado Wednesday afternoon, injuring two of his schoolmates before turning the gun on himself. Authorities say Desmond Hawley had been, quote, radicalized by an extremist network, though the exact group has not been named. Officials say Hawley shot two classmates at Evergreen High School and wounded them, and they say Hawley used a revolver, reloaded it several times, and was only stopped by secured doors as students ran or sheltered in place. The school's regular resource officers were not on campus at the time. Investigators are now analyzing Hawley's home, phone, and how he got the gun.